we've got to look at the kind of history of marketing. And what is marketing? Well, marketing is this idea that you've got something to sell, that you're going to sell for profit, and you need to get it into other people's hands. So in the industrial era, rather coming out of the agrarian era into the industrial era, the first era of marketing was simple trade. You had a piece of meat that you wanted to sell. Perhaps you had several pieces of meat that you wanted to sell. So you opened a little bit of a shop, and you let everybody around you know that you had this meat for sale. So you didn't have to worry about the market any longer each week. You could go to this place where it was sold, essentially any time that it was open. And so this was the first era of marketing, and this was kind of like the 1850s. And then between the 1860s and the 1920s, things started to develop. Because then the Industrial Revolution was in full swing. And during the Industrial Revolution, what of course was happening was that we were taking engineering miracles at the time and creating the ability to produce products and reinvent the way that we'd done things historically and introduce, mass production and efficiencies and whatever. And so the whole idea of marketing during this era changed. And if you look at this advertisement from the time, from this particular time, you can see it uses language like, the factory exists to serve you. Because this was new, this had never been experienced before. So this was the kind of the second era of marketing. And then between the 1920s and 1940s, we had Second World War, we had the Great Depression, we were just about to head into the Second World War. And during the time of the Great Depression, when we had all this sort of very large means of production and nobody buying stuff, essentially the owners of these means of productions, of these businesses, made the decision that they needed to sell. And so the language of marketing at that time changed as well. So if you look at this advertisement, I think you see that price is mentioned 4 or 5 times. And if you really sort of dig deep into the language, and I realize you can't read it now, but this picture is on the internet. They're talking about your need to buy this and why it's important that you get it. So this is where sort of the third era of marketing, which is all about sales, came into play. So that was till sort of 1940s. And then between 1940s and 1960s, we kind of entered into the Mad Men era. And this is where companies that had the means of production realized that, okay, yeah, they could sell and they needed to take their message to market, but they needed to start thinking intellectually about how to take that message to market. And so at this time, you get all these really interesting ideas of, if you've seen Mad Men, how the Kodak carousel was sold. And a really good example of this is the Ovaltinis. Does anybody here, do you know of the Ovaltinis? Susan does, because she's my generation, right? But this was a soft drink. Ovaltine is a soft drink. Not a soft drink. It's a hot drink that you fill with milk, and you typically have it before you go to sleep at night. And all the kids during this generation used to have a cup of Ovaltine before they went to bed. And the Ovaltinis was this kids club, and there was a song that was sung, and it was constant refrain if you're a child, and the kids were singing it because they all wanted to be Ovaltinis. And so this was the fourth era of marketing, and where the means of productions had marketing departments inside the companies that were taking the message that people needed to buy their stuff to that marketplace. And then between 1960s and 1990s, we moved into the classic marketing company era. And the Coca-Cola is the classic example of a marketing company. When you understand Coca-Cola's business, they're just a bottler, and they're a distributor of fizzy water, sugar-sweetened fizzy water. Their mission, and still is, to have a Coca-Cola within reach of everybody on the planet. And in doing so, you got the sort of the Coca-Cola brand experience that was starting to emerge. So in essence, Coca-Cola is a marketing company. But a really good example of this is the tiger in your tank motif. Now, a few of the older people in the room are smiling because they remember this. And I'm going to show you a video that will kind of illustrate what a marketing company approach to marketing was in this particular era. If you will, please, Michael.
Where's that tiger? Where's that tiger? Where's that tiger? Where's that tiger? There's that tiger! Hold that tiger! There's that tiger! There's that tiger! Share that tiger! We all give our thanks! Old car, new car, just for 2 car. Let's put a tiger in our tanks. Exo extra!
So, you know, if you're a petroleum producer and you need to market your product, how are you going to do it? As you can see here, there's these tigers that hang out, these tigers' tails, and also they had them hanging out of the fuel cap. And so people were driving around in the 60s and 70s and the 80s with these tiger things hanging out. And this is how Esso, in this instance, were marketing you know, their products. So this was the fifth era of marketing, the dedicated marketing company. And then from 1996 to 2000, when the internet really sort of came into its own, we moved into a relationship era, because now we had the opportunity to not just broadcast one way to people, we had the opportunity to receive feedback, and we could then forge a relationship with people. And so we have, over the course of these 20 years, the 6th era of marketing, which we're all familiar with.